Some woodworking joints look so complicated that they almost seem impossible to build. So I decided to test 5 of them myself. But instead of simply showing how to make them, I wanted to find out which joints were actually worth the effort. Some looked incredible. Some were surprisingly strong. And one of them turned out to be much harder than it looked. I started with the first joint, the dovetail. Dovetails have a reputation for being one of those joints that separate beginners from experienced woodworkers. The reason is simple. The joint has angled tails and pins that have to fit together precisely. If you remove too much material, the joint becomes loose. Remove too little, and the pieces won't go together. I marked everything carefully and made the cuts as accurately as possible. The first attempt wasn't perfect. But after cleaning up the cuts with a chisel, the pieces started to come together. And when the joint finally slid into place, it was surprisingly solid. The dovetail definitely wasn't impossible. But it demanded patience. Next, I wanted something that looked even more intimidating, a sliding dovetail. If the channel is too tight, the pieces won't slide together. If it's too loose, the joint loses much of its mechanical strength. I made the groove first and then carefully shaped the matching piece. This time, I had to make tiny adjustments. A little material at a time. Eventually, the 2 pieces started sliding together. And once they were fully seated, the connection was extremely difficult to pull apart in the direction the joint was designed to resist. This one definitely earned its reputation. But then came the joint I was most curious about. The mortise and tenon. It might not look as complicated as a dovetail, but getting a strong mortise and tenon requires accurate layout and careful cutting. The tenon needs to fit the mortise tightly without being forced. Too loose, and the joint can move. Too tight, and you risk damaging the surrounding wood during assembly. I cut the mortise first, then worked slowly on the tenon. After a few test fits, I finally got a connection that seated firmly. And this was one of those moments where simple design proved to be extremely effective. The joint doesn't need to look complicated. It just needs to work. At first glance, it looks almost like a puzzle. A series of fingers from one board interlock with fingers from another. The challenge is consistency. Every finger has to be the right width. Every gap has to line up. And if your spacing is even slightly off, the entire joint can look wrong. I made the cuts and started testing the pieces. The first fit was close, but not perfect. So I made a few small adjustments. And when everything finally lined up, the result was incredibly satisfying. It looked complicated, but the real secret was accurate repetition. A regular miter can already be tricky because 2 angled pieces need to meet cleanly. A compound miter adds another angle to the equation. That means one small measurement error can create a very visible gap. I marked the angles carefully and made the first cuts. Then I brought the pieces together. And there it was. A small gap. Not huge. But definitely noticeable. I adjusted the setup and tried again. This time, the fit was much better. But getting 4 pieces to meet cleanly required even more patience. After several adjustments, the corners finally came together. And honestly, this was the joint that taught me the biggest lesson. Complex-looking woodworking isn't always about having special tools. It's often about controlling small variables. Accurate measurements. Sharp tools. Proper layout. And knowing when to remove just a little more material instead of trying to fix everything in one cut. So after testing all 5 joints, which one actually won? If I judged them by appearance alone, the dovetail would be one of my favorites. The sliding dovetail impressed me with its mechanical strength. The box joint was probably the most satisfying to assemble. The mortise and tenon was the simplest looking joint, but it's still one of the most useful and proven ways to connect wooden parts. And the compound miter? That one was definitely the test of patience. So were these joints actually impossible? Not at all. But some of them are absolutely unforgiving. And that's the difference. A complicated joint doesn't necessarily require some secret woodworking technique. It requires accuracy. The more complicated the geometry becomes, the less room you have for mistakes. And that's probably the biggest takeaway from this experiment. If you're learning woodworking, don't be intimidated by a joint just because it looks impossible. Start with accurate measurements. Practice on scrap wood. Make test pieces. And let the tools remove the material gradually instead of trying to get everything perfect in one cut. Because sometimes the most difficult looking joint isn't impossible. It just doesn't give you much room to be careless. And after testing these 5, I definitely know which ones I'd build again. But now I'm curious about something else. What happens when you take the strongest looking woodworking joints and actually try to break them? That's the experiment I think we should do next.